inside the cargo containers to see the ones with the bars on the windows, to see what's going on inside. You got kids in these tents with foil blankets, and a lot of them are very young. And isn't also part of the equation that the hope is if they get to stay here, then they get to bring their parents to come in also? Chain migration?
Yeah, absolutely, Sean. I mean, it's the perception, right? And that's what everyone is saying. The perception overseas, the perception in Mexico, Guatemala, Nicaragua, El Salvador, is that Biden is opening his arms and saying, come on in, you're going to get a job. Come on in, you're going to get amnesty. So the cartels and the human traffickers are using this to lure the people in. And since they stopped building the border wall, I can tell you this, a lot of those cartels are knocking down part of the walls that have not been built in areas that were once guarded or not being guarded because they're too busy processing the migrants that are coming in. It's a real devastating situation, and one that they expect to escalate by spring.
All right, Sarah, thank you. And joining us now with more, the host of Lara Logan Has No Agenda on FoxNation.com, Lara Logan, along with former acting Border Patrol Chief Mark Morgan. I know, Lara, you have your sources today telling you that Mexico is actually calling the shots on who keeps coming over the border, and their guidance keeps changing. They get to decide now?
Yeah, Sean, that's exactly what the agents are saying, that from 1 hour to the next, they don't know what to expect. 1 minute it's children 7 and under. The next minute it's children 12 and under who are allowed to stay. Mexico refuses to take certain countries. For example, they are not very high on countries of Islamic origin. They don't accept people from China, and so on and so on. And what is really kind of unusual here that no one can quite explain is that President Biden's administration signed, there was an executive order that ended the so-called border crisis that Trump had declared. And under that, DOD assets like helicopters and soldiers should have been returned to their bases and should have been removed. And I'm sure Mark Morgan can tell you this too, because I know he's still in touch with a lot of people down there. The soldiers are still there. Border Patrol agents are asking for guidance. They want to know what's going on, and they're not getting any answers. It's unclear here what's happening. But what a lot of people don't realize is Border Patrol doesn't test people for COVID. They have any testing that is done by local cities or NGOs and others. So all of the people that have been released, most of them have not been tested for COVID. So while there's a big outcry over masks, and the pandemic, Mexico is a COVID hotspot. That's why the Trump administration introduced Title 42. And the Biden administration has yet to say what they did on February 21st when Title 42 restrictions and when that mandate expired. And no one seems to be asking them that question. But Border Patrol is still returning people under Title 42.
Mark Morgan, you're seeing a direct impact and change now happening. And I don't care what anybody says. There's got to be a reason. I can't imagine any cargo shipping container being appropriate for children. And I don't really care how many images of butterflies you put on the inside when you have a tiny window that you can't see outside and it has bars on it. Nor sleeping in a tent with a tinfoil blanket. Not exactly luxury comfort for people.
Well, look, Sean, I think the key part here is the hypocrisy, because some of these same facilities were used under the Obama administration and they were moral and justified. Same facilities under Trump and they were immoral and inhumane. And now, because of the Biden administration's systematically removal of every single effective tool, policy, and authority, we have a new crisis. So they have to build these facilities. It was preventable. They did not have to do this. And Sean, I need to mention real quick, the DHS secretary stood on the White House grounds today, this week, and lied to the American people. He was asked, is there a crisis at the southwest border? And he said no. That's a blatant lie. Look, Sarah and Laura, they've already outlined the crisis. And it's not just about UACs. UACs have more than doubled from last year. Our overall encounters have more than doubled the last year. In February, I think we're going to get to 100,000 people in a single month to try to illegally enter. Over 9,000 UACs. I could go on and on, Sean. There is absolutely a crisis on our southwest border.
Unbelievable. Great work when we were